Mr. President, this is Richard Peter with Citizens Briefing dated Friday, February the 6th in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2009. Mr. President, I enjoyed your speech on to the people at the prayer breakfast or whatever the meeting was about. It was eloquent. It was wonderful. It appealed to everybody, those of faith and those of no faith whatsoever. It showed really great political wisdom on your part. But you said something, Mr. President, that's very important. You stated that it is important to recognize that all religions want to protect innocent life. Then my question directly to you, President Obama, is why are you allowing or not stepping up as the President of we the people of the United States of America and outlawing, or at least advocating the outlawing of abortion in America today? Why is it you don't come out, and if you can't do anything about it legally right now, at least morally step to the microphone and say, I've made a mistake and I'm going to do everything within my power to stop the slaughter of these innocent children. Mr. President, I can tell you this nation has many, many sins, but the one that's going to drag it down the tubes, and we're all held accountable by the God who raised Jesus Christ from the dead. The sin that is going to drag us all down the tube is the sin of infant genocide in the womb. That's what abortion is. It's killing innocent children by the millions. And for any American president not to morally stand against it using the bully pulpit of the office of President of the United States, it's absolutely wrong. I'm going to be stating that over and over again until it finally gets through into the American consciousness that we can no longer ask for the blessing of God while we're killing his children, committing infanticide, murder. It's genocide, Mr. President. And it has to stop, and it has to stop now, or this nation will bring itself to its knees because of the law of the Lord. Whatsoever a man sows, that shall a man also reap. That goes for individuals, that goes for families, that goes for regions and communities, and it goes for nations as well, Mr. President. Okay, now on to the economy, Mr. President. You know, I'm a simple man, and the American people are basically simple people. We've just got a lot of common sense. And you've got your inner circle of economic advisors, and now you're bringing together the heads of corporations to tell you how to solve the economic crisis in America. You ought to bring people in from the street, Mr. President, not these people that are presidents of corporations. They don't walk the streets the way the unemployed do. They don't have to go to the dining room table at night and tell their wife that there's not enough money to buy groceries and that they're soon to be thrown out on the street. Mr. President, this is a crime against the American people that's been committed. We've been taken advantage of in several ways that I'm going to enumerate. And it's going to take drastic reparation coming from you, the new president, with the kind of support that you've got to solve the problems of this country. Let me start, first of all, with the suggestions that I've made about turning the economy around. First of all, Mr. President, you shouldn't be going to the state governors. The first thing you did is get in that new airplane that we've given you, along with Rob Emanuel and others, and you got into that airplane and you flew to go meet with the American governor, the Democratic governors. They are probably pressuring you now and giving you their wish list of their pet projects. You should have invited 100 of the nation's mayors to come in and talk to you about money that's needed that can put people to work. The mayors know where the projects are shovel ready, Mr. President. You don't need to be going through the governors. All they're trying to do, Mr. President, is get you to reward their favorite construction companies that have contributed a lot to their political campaigns. You don't need them, Mr. President. In fact, you don't even need the Democratic Party. You're the president of we the people. So you need to do what's right for we the people. You don't need to cater to toady for favor from the Democratic governors or the Republican governors, for that matter. Now, a smart move on your part would be to bring all of the mayors in and tell them where are the shovel-ready projects where you can put people to work next week. All right, now the next thing, Mr. President, let's just be very simple in all of this. This $1 trillion that by the time we end up paying interest on it, that this stimulus is going to, this so-called stimulus that you're ramrodding through Congress. Mr. President, don't you realize that angels fear to tread where men rush in, fools rush in, where angels themselves fear to tread? We need to slow down. We need to have some committee hearings. We need to bring people in off the street to advise you. First of all, let me advise on what the $1 trillion should be used for. It should be used to give cash vouchers to every unemployed American, up to $30,000 based on 2008 income, and have these unemployed people, instead of lining up in a disgraceful fashion and disenchanted and having to tell their wives that they're laid off and they spent 8 hours in an unemployment line, just create a cash voucher out of the that is in the amount of up to $30,000 for everybody that's unemployed. Have them go back to where they were laid off and present the voucher, and if the company rehires within 90 days or less, that will solve that problem, Mr. President. I realize there may need to be some tweaks to that, but that's just pure common sense. The other thing, Mr. President, is this. We're simple people. We're tired of filling out 50-page tax forms and paying $400 and $500 to accountants to fill it out for us. What will immediately cure the problem is go to a 15% flat tax for both the corporate people, the business owner people, and the individuals. Everybody ought to just be able to fill out their taxes on a postcard. It should be no more than 15%. Withholding immediately should stop with that. The withholding should automatically drop to 15%. That will produce more money. Now also, we need to institute, Mr. President, an economic stimulus at the same time. That would mean giving people $10,000 to buy an energy efficient car, $20,000 made in America, $20,000 to buy an energy efficient home. The interest rate needs to be no higher than 4%. The payment should be split equally between interest and principal, so that, you know, Mr. President, I said it on an earlier video, if you go out to borrow $100,000 to buy a home, you end up paying $200,000 in interest, Mr. President. That's ridiculous. It's not right. What you should do is have an American Mortgage Reform Act. Believe me, we've given them enough money now to where we need to have input on all decisions that they make. Have a 4% loan, immediately apply the interest on that. 50% of the payment, let's say it's $1,000, 500 of it goes to the reduction of principal, the other 500 goes to the payment of interest. That'll get us into our homes, owning our homes in 15 years or less. Quit allowing the banks to rob the American people, Mr. President, please. Now, the next thing we need to do is have a year of jubilee. We need to clear the credit records immediately, Mr. President, and everybody gets to go buy a home based upon the quality of the job that they have. Clear the credit records and you'll stimulate the economy overnight. Let us go buy our cars, give us a stimulus. You notice I haven't said one thing about government pork or building roads and highways, Mr. President. Put that off. It's ridiculous. We just can't afford that at this point in time, sir. Put that off down the road. We'll drive on bumpy roads for a while, but get us back to work. Put us in homes, clear our credit, let us drive energy efficient cars. That'll put the auto industry back in gear again. That will solve the immediate problem, Mr. President. Create a 15% flat tax, make it simple. And finally, this is the most important thing, Mr. President. If you don't want to nationalize the banks or put the Federal Reserve under the Department of Treasury, at least do this. Forbid fractional banking. Go back to a gold standard, Mr. President. Do you realize that what the banks have done, for every $1,000 on deposit, they're allowed to loan out $9,000. It's a 10-to-1 ratio, Mr. President. I'm sure you understand it, but have Geithner explain it to you again. Then they turn right around and loan that money they've created out of thin air, and they loan it at usurious rates of interest in these mortgages where the people are paying $200,000 in interest before they get a chance to pay down on their principal. It's obscene, Mr. President. So outlaw fractional banking. Keep things the way they are. Realize I'm asking an awful lot of you. But immediately outlaw fractional banking. Go to a 15% flat tax. Clear the American credit records. This will be the year of the American Jubilee. And give up to $30,000 to everybody who's laid off to go redeem at the place they were last employed or a place of new employment within 90 days of receiving it. Give the companies 90 days to hire, Mr. President, and you'll solve your problem. I'm just a common sense guy. If you'd like to talk to me instead of your inner circle of highfalutin college graduates and your inner circle of governors and your inner circle of these new corporation presidents, bring the mayors of the cities in. They're the ones closest to the people, Mr. President. Bring me in. I'm Richard Peter. I'll buy you lunch. My phone number is 1-877-365-0042. Pick up the phone and call me, Mr. President. Call me now.